I joined Radio Korea in 1991, January 1991. After 1 year, this riot thing broke out. April 29, 1992, we opened up the channel to our listeners. Callers called in, and no police was responding, no fire trucks were responding. Should we go in or should we come out? Why is police not responding? Another person called, oh my God, that store is my store. And lady crying, The store owner was fighting with the looters coming in to the store. He was shooting, and he ran out bullets. I'm running out of the bullets. He's calling on the radio, and people don't know what kind of gun he have, right? But people drove by and threw the bullets over the fence in his backyard. The second day of riot, I opened up the front door of my station. I looked outside. The building across was burning here and there. Postman was running away, and this little kid was shooting at the police. The postman. It was like a war zone, chaos. And Korean elderly man got hit in his head and bleeding. He came in for help. We shut all the doors, locked all the gates. Some people said, should we evacuate the station? But we can't, because we already opened up all our channels from commercial free. We became an only source of information in Koreatown. Police didn't come. Fire department didn't respond. There was nowhere to help and get information. But Radio Korea opened up all phone lines, and people start calling in. This was the first case in American history that a community radio station acted as a command center during the civil unrest. The LA riot was categorized as a civil unrest. So it was a very unfortunate incident, but we also feel proud that we did something for our community. I had a lot of experience during that short time, because whatever I can grab, whatever I can cover, my bosses would let me cover anything I want, because we were short in manpower, short in equipment. Every other month or every other week, we saw people, store owners, get shot. That killed. They kill for small change. They kill people for beer, anything. They kill for nothing too. My colleagues had to cover the stories, and nowadays we don't have that many incidents like that. But at the time, it was a story of homicide, but also a story of broken American dream. So what we did was we go to their homes and follow all the way through funeral. There are so many liquor store owners or mom and pop, grocery stores or dry cleaners. We all have small businesses, and someone's dad or someone's friend killed, in mid-50s, late 40s. They came here with some money, but highly educated. During the 70s and 80s, most people, Koreans, were educated, but to make a living, they didn't have that much choice, so they went to South Central, East LA, less well off places, and they worked 16 hours a day. So to Koreans, it was a broken American dream. family's, breadwinner is dead. Kids are going to college. The whole family goes down, and we've seen so many of those. So the trend of covering story at that time was we go all the way to their funeral and tell the story. In my view, white America had this perception that black white, black Korean, black Hispanic, they tend to separate people by people. That's why I think this riot became more racially motivated, portrayed as more like a racially motivated. It was a racially motivated incident between black and white. Black and Koreans is more towards cultural difference, language barrier. That has more to do with the conflict. During SaIGu, I've talked to a lot of black people, African American people. I talked to people at NAACP. They blamed the government and city government because the city and the politicians neglected the South Central Los Angeles. They think that it was due to economic poverty in that area, neglected in education, job training. I think we are heading towards a better place. I think people learn from their mistakes, and people learn things. I think white community learned a little bit. All communities here in LA learned. And now you go to South Central LA, you see big chain stores, Home Depot, Walmart, train stations. You can see a lot of changes. But this society is so uncertain. Anything can happen. I can't say it's safe, and it won't be another incident like this. The young generation, young Korean American generations should continue to educate their kids. Try to continue to send them to good schools, participate in civics, political arena, and have more voice in politics. Prepare to have a strong voice, stand up like black community. We have to learn a lot from black community. They don't just ignore. They go all the way, even though people point fingers at them. But there are crazy activists, normal activists, funny activists, radicals, people like NAACP, all sectors, and politicians too. So I think our young Korean generations have to learn something from them, and then we don't be a victim because of language barrier, because we are shy, because we are nice people. We don't have to be nice people living here. We should be law-abiding people and ask what we want in our community. My name is Jinho Lee. This is my SaIGu story.